Our speech and actions are predominantly guided by vested interests. Our perspectives on a given subject are shaded by personal interest to the extent that we would defend it at all costs in order to avoid potential problems, harm, and loss. There are instances where we uphold our interests despite recognizing the ethical conflicts. In fact, it is often more convenient to safeguard our own interests even when conflicting with the interests of others. For example, a country knows that what is happening in Gaza is an affront to all humanity, yet it refrains from saying or doing anything to stop the genocide because it fears repercussions from countries that it depends on for economic, financial, political, or military support. A nation's reliance on others doesn't necessarily prevent it from doing what's morally right, but it's during such critical times that we truly assess the depth of our commitment to vested interests and its impact on our collective humanity. While we understand the complexities that may have hindered Muslim countries from fully committing to the rescue of Palestine, it remains disheartening to witness vested interests overshadowing our shared humanity. Confronted with an existential crisis, the realization dawns that American promises of support often come laden with conditions. It would be overly optimistic to assume that, as a hegemonic power, America's decisions are guided solely by altruistic principles rather than self interest. In moments of global urgency, the clash between collective responsibility and individual agendas becomes all too obvious, forcing us to think about the intricate dynamics shaping how our world responds to crisis. And so, when America supplies weapons used by Israel to kill Palestinian children, countries don't react justly as we expect them because they worry about whether they can still profit from selling oil, enjoy debt relief, get financial aid, procure arms with subsidies, or if they too would suffer the same fate as Palestine. This is how hegemony works. The rich, driven by greed, holds the world in their grip. No amount of harm that they do dislodges the world from that grip. The crimes against humanity Israel and the US have committed in Gaza were committed with such impunity, with absolutely no humanity, no regard for what the world thinks. Why? Because they think they can get away with it. Since all of us have vested interests, we want to protect so much that we are willing to look the other way. Is this really so? Is this how we are? Well, not according to the millions who have gone to the streets to protest the genocide, demand ceasefire, block ships from carrying weapons to Israel, voice their discontent in international forums, and shout down their leaders in public gatherings. Whether Muslim, Christian, even Jews, together with those of other faiths and beliefs, people have come together to declare that those interests that their governments so cherish are no longer consistent with the interest of humanity. That if they want to continue serving their people as leaders, the interest of all mankind must be prioritized. That no self-interest should ever be at the expense of humanity. Only when our collective interests combine into one will there be peace everywhere. So, even if our governments don't listen or don't do enough to stop the war crimes being perpetrated by Israel and the US in Gaza, we will continue to boycott, divest, and sanction Israel and those who support them. We will charge Netanyahu, Biden, and their allies as war criminals and campaign until Israel is expelled from the UN and world organizations. They will find themselves gravely mistaken if they thought they'd get away with it. Citizens of the world, it is deeply unfortunate that in a tragedy of such magnitude, costing tens of thousands of Palestinian lives in less than 2 months, and tens of thousands more since the first Nakba, there appears an opportunity for the rest of us to set the matter right. Gaza is the epicenter that shakes the whole world from its slumber. Let us all come together and right the wrong, bring the world back to the right path, the one that leads to peace and harmony, mutual respect, and shared prosperity. May God help us in this noble endeavor.